A dusky, rainy day in Paris. The streets gleam wet under the murky light from the street lamps. It is slowly getting evening, but the twilight still holds the sun. A cold wind blows through the narrow streets, driving isolated puddles over the cobblestones and makes the few soldiers crouch in their uniforms. In the distance, above the rooftops of the city, a dark shadow breaks through the clouds. You are in a building, a somewhat larger office building. It has 12 floors. Inside, soldiers sit and drink coffee, use laptops and communicate with other stations units in the area. An occupied Paris, British American, and also French soldiers. Also other NATO units, said the officer named Clovis Gaston, and leads away with an ever louder voice. While standing, he accidentally spills his coffee on the table. The room is bright and looks modern in front of the officer Gaston. Other men are waiting for an order. They are Martin and Goldstein. Also Laurent. At another table sit 3 British soldiers who have coffee and cake on the table. Also play cards. They play canasta. They are stationed all over Europe like never before since World War II. It looks like it started World War III. What do you mean, monsieur? Asks the soldier named Etienne Martin. He looks at him and says, look out the window. We're screwed. His voice gets louder. Everyone looks at the officer. He says you will have to find him. The officer is probably angry because his people after losing someone. The British soldiers turn around the table and continue playing canasta, as if nothing had happened. Meanwhile, a helicopter tumbles uncontrollably through the air. Hey, look at that. Other people are looking out the window of the office tower. Damn, says Martin. He's going to make an emergency landing, shouts the soldier, tearing the others out of their lethargy. The British soldiers are also at the window to look. Probably a lack of fuel, speculates another, while his eyes follow the sinking aircraft. The rotor screeches loudly as the helicopter lands in an abandoned green area. They can no longer determine the crash site, because it flew very far past their line of sight. The machine tips to the side, stirring up mud and water until it finally comes to rest. Smoke rises from the wreckage. Some soldiers nearby observed the scene. Voices rise, whisper and speculate. A helicopter? Monday do, what happened there? Murmurs an older soldier, who stopped with a rifle in his hand. Suddenly a military jeep approaches at high speed. The tires cut through the puddles, leave a trail of splashing water. 3 soldiers jump out of the vehicle, while the driver waits with the engine running. The highest-ranking officer, a colonel with a weather-beaten face and sharp eyes, looks sternly at those around him. Did anyone see what happened? His voice is calm, but commanding. People start talking in confusion. A chopper has landed, sir. There are people inside. There was an accident. We have to help. Quiet. The colonel raises his hand, his voice piercing the chaos. Not all mixed up. I just want to know who wants to come. We have to secure the crash site. No radio messages from the aviation authority, the army or? So it is not one of our machines. Anyone who lands here without clearance and crashes will be interrogated, possibly taken away. In the worst-case scenario, he interrupts himself, Colonel John Wingate, from the Special Air Service. His eyes narrow. We don't have time. Who's coming with us? A young soldier immediately salutes. I'm in, Colonel. Me too, sir, shouts another Frenchman. Some others hesitate. Then a sergeant, a strong man with a waterproof jacket and a determined face, steps forward. Sergeant Dubois reporting, Colonel. What's going on? 3 of his men behind him. It's nice that you're joining us. Explanations will be given later. Your men are coming as reinforcements. Understood, Colonel. There is also a man named Clovis Gaston hurrying over. Hey! You bum, you're not going anywhere without me. Laughing, Wingate calls out, come over here. Gaston comes over to Wingate. I saw it. Says Gaston. Wingate says you can see everything. Yes, from up there. Gaston points with his finger up to the office tower, where he had seen everything. You know my idiot squad. I've lost my radio and equipment. I have to find Arnold. Oh, so Wingate says I should help you? Gaston pats him on the shoulder. You have the Hummer. Hey. I have guys, you have a car. Right? Gaston grins and Wingate agrees. Of course. No problem. The other people have already arrived there. And they ask Gaston, Monsieur? How should we? Gaston slowly turns around and says, stay in the tower and make me coffee. Everyone has to laugh. No, he's only kidding. Confirms Wingate and says, we only have 1 Hummer Jeep. The others are looking for more officers, because there are more and more people around the circle there. Okay. Before it gets dark we have to get going. Gaston looks at Martin and says, you have that. Give it to me. But sir, says Martin. Here you have mine, says Gaston and pulls out his Glock. Here with auto, if he has to brake he clicks the switch to single mode. It is a Glock 21, 45. Okay sir. Gaston takes the M4 from him from the hand. It's just for now. I'll bring it back to you. Okay, no problem, says Martin. The squad sets off. The soldiers check their weapons, check their radios. The jeep sets off as the sky continues to darken. The lights of the city fade in the distance. The road to the crash site is muddy, with deep tracks. They are Gaston, Wingate, Dubois, and a few others. They are driving in a armored Humvee M1151, a 1-slantback fastback with armor frag kits and auto turret. It is not a jeep but more like a tank jeep. Another vehicle and still a small troop with a striker transporter behind them. Almost a column. What exactly happened? Asks Sergeant Dubois, looking at the man next to him. A helicopter crash. Probably not French. A second soldier grins crookedly. Sergeant, did you know that we're probably going to arrest these people right now? Or just he imitates a gun with his fingers and makes a dry bang. Several soldiers laugh. Dubois narrows his eyes. We only shoot when we have to. And this isn't a damn adventure. There's a serious undertone to his voice that abruptly silences the laughter. The jeep rolls further into the darkness, while the wreckage of the helicopter awaits them in the distance. They continue driving through the streets of Paris. They are in an area where it looks a bit more destroyed than usual. The areas of the streets are a bit run down. There are still some roadblocks at some intersections. The British team in front, from the upper roof of the Land Rover Snatch, a man crawls up. He looks back to the troop of Gaston and shows a warning sign with his hand. The driver of the other vehicle narrows his eyes. Suddenly one of the soldiers in Gaston and Wingate's vehicle calls out to someone across the car. "Sir, I saw something there." He sees an old tank, an M1 Abrams. It's standing there with the turret open. It looks abandoned. "Hey, you over there, be quiet, I almost had an accident, you asshole. I could shoot you. So be quiet," says the driver. Du Bois narrows his eyes, his voice cutting through the laughter. "Shoot him? We're not at war here, boy. If you want to do something like that, then join the Foreign Legion." "Sir, he's bothering us, he's a danger." "That's fine. Tell Du Bois keep your eyes open. We're now outside the safe zone." There's silence for a moment, then the second soldier clears his throat and grins. "Besides, I'm out of coffee anyway. Another reason for my head to be uneasy. Or, Sergeant, do you perhaps have some more coffee for me?" Du Bois frowns. "Coffee? Are you kidding me?" Some soldiers laugh in the background. "No, Sergeant. I only have cigarettes left." A third soldier laughs and pats the second on the shoulder. "Hey, you donkey. Leave the sergeant alone." He turns to Du Bois. He's just mad because he lost everything at cards. Du Bois shakes his head and smiles slightly. "Oh, is that so? Not because of the coffee?" The third soldier immediately laughs. "Yes, exactly." "Ha, very funny," snorts the second soldier. "But I'll tell you something, I still have an ace up my sleeve, I have." Suddenly tires squeak loudly on the wet asphalt. The soldiers flinch as the leading British jeep stops abruptly. "Watch out! Something is happening. Look out!" A radio message comes from the first British car. The colonel's voice crackles through the noise. "Everything is okay. We have a body in front of us. It is now being disposed of." A tense moment of silence follows. The second soldier whispers, "A corpse?" The third soldier leans back, a crooked smile on his lips. "Yes, that's exactly what will happen to you, if you keep getting into debt playing cards." He laughs provocatively. The second soldier glares at him. "It's funny again, isn't it? Or you know what? I jerked off to your sister's photo 10 times. Ha! What do you say to that?" Sergeant Du Bois' eyes flash dangerously. "Hey, you childish idiots. Do you even know what's going on up there? Are you even capable of understanding the situation?" The soldiers fall silent, as the jeep slowly starts moving again. The dark night swallows up the voices, and in front of them lies the wreckage and perhaps more than just a corpse. The British soldiers in the front car got out and removed the bodies from the road. "Jeremy Klein, a British soldier," he says. "Fuck. Fucked up. Grossy shit over here. Look at that Marlon." He said to him, "Marlon, come on you wimp. We have to get rid of these poor guys from the streets." The two British soldiers are now standing in front of the dead, have their SA-80 assault rifles attached to the back with a buckle. Now they can lay hands on them. When Marlon bends down and looks at the three dead people, he notices something. "Little one, well, did it make you feel a bit disgusted? Or am I deceiving you?" "Me. Marlon, fuck you you wanker." You see the three dead male figures. The headlights of the cars are 10 meters away, and seem to shine brightly on the corpses. You see the hollowed-out chest of one of the corpses looks as if a chainsaw had cut something out of his shoulder. Sawed, the corpses look as if their souls had left them. The white eyes look upwards without pupils. It looks horrible. "Sir, can we help?" says another Brit who gets out. The other two are approaching, Marlon and Kleiner, who are just clearing the dead away. "Hey, stay with me, Duke," says the driver to the other nerd soldier, who shows his willingness to help. Woodfield gets out from the side and takes something out of the rear driver's seat, a box with a strap, a 7.62x51 NATO ammunition box for the HK-21 machine gun. He takes both pieces apart and throws them to Duke. He calls to him before he throws it because Duke has to catch it. Woodfield, "Hey you asshole. Here." He throws him a rifle to a HK-21 machine gun. "Wow. That's hard, sir." "Yes, make sure the box is in place. Go and check." "Okay." "Okay," says Duke. A moment passes. The driver laughs and their stands are Rambo. They watch Duke as he patrols in front of the spotlight with a machine gun. His long blonde hair sticks out from his helmet and the spotlights light up his blue eyes, because he is a little scared. Another soldier smokes a cigarette. Woodfield draws his FAL rifle and checks the magazine. "Hey. Duke." He turns around and looks scared. "Yes. Sir." "Hey.